Brave New World. It makes me think of that Disney song, A Brave New World. Remember that? Anyway, there I am. Scott Franklin Rhee, your host. I want to talk about how we were programmed, and I have to bring Brave New World into it, I guess. It's just appropriate. So, A Brave New World talked about a future where, nobody was born unless you lived off in the land of the savages, which in my estimation is going to be Russia. The land of the savages, as predicted by Brave New World, is Russia. And anybody who wants to have kids like that and live like John the Savage will go to Russia. And then that's where the alphas will go to get those hot Russian babes. But I want to talk to you about how memetics has programmed us. I want to talk about how, the internet has programmed us and degraded us at the same time. It's taken what our flaws were, looked at us, analyzed us, spit us back out, and said, here's how to further degrade us away from basic biological drives. Everything that I ever talk about, everything that's ever been done to subvert mankind, men and women, however you identify, everything that's been done to subvert and pervert you has been done like this. Biological imperative. Men and women coming together, finding safety and security, and then bringing the next generation of people here and being fine representative examples of a man and a woman, so that the growing up men and women could find a fine representative example of a man and a woman, healthy, mentally, mind, body, and spirit on all levels, whatever you believe. Again, to keep perpetuating the species. Now, there's always been those who've been allowed to free range it, and now we have a world where we've created 5G situation where nobody can free range it, but everybody's herded and ranged like cattle through sound. Sound's a powerful tool. In Brave New World, sound is important because the tones come out and tell people how to feel. Then you have the Joe Rogan Soma experience that gives you the somas. One's a soma you take in, you ingest it through your mouth, and then the other's the somas, that's the ethers that you breathe in. I mean, it doesn't matter how we got there, what the actual tools are. Brave New World was first published in 1939, but we have all of its goodies, all right? We have cannabis, we have this outrageous, insane strains of cannabis made in labs. It's called autism and shit like that. They make punchlines about it. It's called the dark side OG, train wreck, whatever the fuck it's called, right? It's made to make you go, duh, and then people make dabs and all this stuff. It's Brave New World and A Scanner Darkly. All the best science fiction was used to have us Scanner Darkly everything, was have us Brave New World everything. There's two things. 1980. There's two battles for the same future. Democrat, Republican. 1984, Brave New World. We got Brave New World. Okay? 1984 was You'll Hate It, and it's awful. Or maybe one comes before the other. I don't know. But anyway, what we got was Brave New World, where we sign up for it gleefully and willingly because we got the feels and the feelies. I said this before. Katy Perry propagandizes a song. Feels, feels, feels. And then in Brave New World it has the feelies. Instead of don't have love, that's silly. Oh, John, you're just talking, or John the Savage, you're just talking about the feelies. And the feelies were also the movies, right? You go to see the feelies. Again, memetics, Vines, Facebook, Tumblr, vlogs. People only want to see 5-minute, 10-minute videos. Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, social engineering, programming. Let's make shows. My parents were Heidecker. Their last name's Heidecker, and they worked for Hitler. It's true. It's online. It was in interviews, and he said, "Oh, we don't like to talk about that." And the other guy's last name is Wareheim. Who the hell knows who his lineage is? Disgusting. But anyway, Adult Swim. Let's keep it focused. Adult Swim shortened the 22-minute. Again, it's always been TV programming. TV programs are 22 minutes with the commercials, and TV's always been about the commercials, right? It's called TV programming, and it always has been. You go to the movies, it's certain lengths are recommended, end times or this and that. But again, there's flexibility in the lengths of films, but there is these. So now let's look at the refinement with the internet, all the different ways we're programmed how to think, all the ways we're programmed how to be, how to interact with one another, because we're all making videos and movies. We want to get the hits. We're all doing this to each other, with each other. We're giving it to each other. We're scanner darklying. We're a scanner darklying each other. We're doing it to each other. We're doing it to each other with our entertainment, with how we entertainment, because we've agreed on their terms of service and formats. 6-second Vine used to be 15-minute YouTubes. Now they're longer. Now some content's okay and some content isn't. And if you want to watch this, maybe you need to see that. It's all Brave New World. It's also Clockwork Orange. All this movies programmed to create the world. Look at all the weirdos out there. Now, forget about the rape gangs of uncles and brothers of cousins that do this religiously. I'm talking about the weird people that do shit online, the bronies, the people that want to fillet and molest horses and stuff like that. But it's okay because they're not real horses and not harming anyone. There's so much lifetimes are being dedicated to the invention of and paying tribute to pornography. And people that read Bible stuff and are scared of false idols and stuff like that. Farce idols. Yeah. Scared of false idols. We live in such an age of false idols where even if we're mocking false idols like me, it's still in a weird way paying tribute to and giving attention to them. We need to be forgetting these things, not trying to reform them into better, healthier role models. People complain about the Star Wars being not a role model, but it doesn't matter. It's still this. It's still Brave New World. We're Google-eyed. It's a puppet. It's a prop. We're paying tribute to false idols in so many ways. Hold on. But we're programming each other and ourselves with the ways they agreed we'd program ourselves and each other. It's very insidious. The way we interact with Facebook and the way that we're being censored now very quickly through all the social medias. Some say there's like a pressure on one of the factions. Some factions, in terms of world powers, power players and world stage, we want to make the world go this way. And some people say, well, we're all going to make it go that way. But we're going to not do your weird stuff you want to do. We're going to get rid of all that. Hold on. I want to make this make sense. How we get programmed, how we've been programmed. We already know through DeviantArt and through guys like Mr. Mediker's chronicling of the degradation of Western civilization through pop culture. People are sexualizing pop culture. It's something they've had in their childhood, and now they've grown up, and they're keeping the pop culture there, and they've sexualized it. Forget about Star Wars stuff or Star Wars pornography or whatever, stuff that seems tame to maybe to a lot of people. The fact that there's Star Wars pornography, or that there's such a focus on weird deviations in pornography, such an emphasis on it, that's already Brave New World. It's not about finding a mate and bringing people here. It's about having a good old time in your 20s, going out, playing a field, guys and gals both, because that's freedom, and fucking around, and then settling down with somebody. And if you're a dude, hopefully you've been with a girl who hasn't gone down on too many dudes. That's the world we've accepted. That's already a Brave New World. Is that already like hard-boiled? You know, like, I mean, not hard-boiled. We're already like hardened off. You know, like we're already so desensitized that for entertainment, we don't really kill people, but we go into video game worlds with our friends and we rape and pillage and murder. Some people don't do that. Some people build forts. You know what I mean? Like, okay, and they have colors like this in the backgrounds. But the point is, it's softening and destroying basic everything about creating this is just, again, first printed in 1939. Everything about creating a Brave New World, which we already have created, we're just refining it now. But I just want to point out to you in this episode how it's being programmed. Can you see this? You're probably already like click, click, click before I even got to it. but 143 characters. That says something about the way you communicate through text. Communicating through text. Marshall McLuhan, the medium is a message. He was like all these different media. We're programming each other by saying this is acceptable, this is not acceptable. We're also spending our lives making fun of the new deviations and perversions, new types of people that are being created, not only by what's in the food supply and how we eat and what we eat, and that we have this, have whatever you want at your disposal, and people are living off of gummy worms and snack foods from convenience stores and stuff like that. And it's making weird types of people. And, you know, the proof is in dental structures, in autism, and how you can see people, because YouTube's been here for like over a decade now. When did it start? 2006 or something. You can see people like degrade and degrade themselves willfully on camera, on YouTube, and then just fall into such a pit of delusion and denial where they just will say anything to just keep being on camera and keep being in front of people, because they're lonely and weird, and being online made them weirder because it was discovered what weird sexual stuff they were into. There's all these, like, it's really made me bummed out. Again, me being a Luddite and being behind the curve, watching the online degradation of people whose careers are already over online, like pretty women or girls that start out fat and then went mental and lost weight and looked good, but they got more mental, and then they just not online anymore. And then other people are saying, yeah, they're recovering someplace, or they do an update video where they did 5 videos after that and then just disappeared again. Because, like, being online did fuck up people's lives. It's a fucking ruiner. It destroys people's lives. For whatever reason, a guy had a video put up, or made of it. For whatever reason, some guy filmed himself on his video camera doing Star Wars sword tricks with a lightsaber. Remember that? With a Darth Maul sword, whatever, this Star Wars kid. And it made him nuts, right? Because people, everyone, there's a Star Wars kid, you fucking nerd. And then people who are assholes were assholes in real life. But we're also programming new types of assholes. But what we're definitely programming is away from biological imperative. All this stuff that I could ever talk about on this episode, or anything I ever talked about on all my episodes, is about distortion and perversion away from basic drives, biological imperatives. Men and women. There's a man, there's a woman. A man gets together with a woman to... Is it safe? Yes, it's safe. We'll bring the next generation of people here. Then a bunch of people live together and say, it's all safe, we can all bring our kids here. Great. Then the kids fall in love with each other, and it's not incest. Next thing you know, that's a community. Now that's going in the way back, right? Okay. So what we have now, we have a global community, and we can communicate with each other. And instead of communicating with each other to create world peace, where we could share resources and how to get along with each other, it's been used to distort us sexually, to distort those basic biological imperative drives, so bonding chemicals, when people kiss, when people get together with each other, they're supposed to bond. But instead, you see what I mean? Like, I'm taking on something that's so huge. The young people are propagandized to go out to the clubs and make out with people and kiss, have sex in high school. In school, they're being propagandized too. Here's how to put a condom on a banana so you don't bring anybody here, so you don't have sex, because it's such a big deal to bring somebody here. But they don't say it like they say that. We know that teens have sex, so if teens are going to have sex, wear condoms to prevent diseases, but also so that you don't bring anybody here, because then you're going to have to take care of them. But then MTV takes away music videos and says, here's what we have to offer young people. We have to offer you Teen Mom, which is propagandizing, as many people have said. Here is, watch this, be a teenage mom. It doesn't work out, but it's still what's being shown on TV, and just what you watch has some kind of effect on you. It does. People say that what you watch doesn't affect you, but it does, because people watch TV shows so much that they create cosplay. They grow up and turn into adults and use their artistic abilities not to create a landscape or put a mortgage on a home for themselves or get a piece of land or anything. No, they spend all their money on going to cons and conventions, hoping they'll become a YouTuber. These are adults now. even though they're feeble-minded, even though they act like children, they act like teenagers, but these are adults. These are people in their 30s, some of them in their 40s. Maybe there's more. I'm not thinking of people older than that. But this younger generation grows up and keeps playing dress up, and it costs money to do that shit. So they have their jobs or they get their funding. People are paying money to each other not to save the fucking planet and feed each other. We're the common people that have money to do stuff, the common man that has any means or resources, and this is global. The sons and daughters of the king and queen are using their resources and GoFundMe to make comic books about frogs and the warmongers, whatever the fuck it was, and chase gorillas, and help me make my brony simulator, dating simulator, and then they run with the money. Why, you know what I mean? Like, there's so much wasted fucking time, and then there's assholes like me that just talk about it and point out, look at this, isn't this funny, isn't this that? We have to talk about it and point it out. But you see what I mean? It's so big. There's so much I've tried to take on with this episode, but it's the only thing to talk about, because it's like we have all the tools to change the world really quick, and instead everybody wants to fund their, you know, like their Kickstarter, GoFundMe, lots of people, and people get their projects funded. Lots of people get stupid things that don't matter funded, and none of them save the world, change policy, you know what I mean, like get people to actually make change globally. We're still, like, people get together and make shit happen about Star Wars. Oh, it's affecting our shareholders. When are people going to go after corporations like Monsanto? Like, the people that would talk about things that matter have been subverted. They're ninnies. I've hung out with these people. The Eco Village people, the we want clean food people, the environmental people, the hippies, the people that want clean food. They're all fucking idiots and morons. They're beneath me. They can accomplish nothing. They can't even get along with each other. It's just like every other group of people. They all fuck each other and split off into smaller groups, saying their way is the way. They all get infiltrated and subverted and diverted and perverted. And now that doesn't matter, because everybody can stay home and just vlog about how they're the vegan fruit-eating 100 banana crazy lunatic asshole, and we can watch them fall apart in YouTube videos until they don't want to show their face anymore, and then other people will spy on them and dox them and say, here's what they're doing now. Remember how we watched them fall apart online and nobody helped them or did anything, and they didn't get any help? They just crashed and burned, but nobody could get through to them anyway, because YouTube is extreme narcissism TV. Social media is extreme narcissism TV, and it's just double down, double down, double down until you melt down, burn out, and go away. And that's okay, because the point of this episode, and the point of what I'm just said there, is that it's okay because it's programming. Some people, it shows, it burns them and turns them just like Hollywood. It's like global Hollywood. Burn people out and spit them into porn one way or the other. But how you spit people out with porn is they get the, you should be embarrassed by this degraded, we're so fucking degraded. The collective we is so degraded. Lots of people think it's okay to rape and abuse people, and that's sexuality. Lots of people think sexuality, like, it's not about inanimate objects, but that's cool because that's Brave New World. Those people don't mate. And now we have people that don't want to mate. So there is some depopulation, but there is people that brought people here still. But what world are they growing up into? It really has a genuine scare to the people who are already here that are young and in their 20s or whatever, and say, I want to bring people here, but is everything going to be so ruled and metered out that what kind of kid are they going to allow? I'm not going to be allowed to bring the kind of person here that I'd like to exist, which was just kind of like, we have barbecues and picnics, and it's just with like meat from a cow. It's not from cells made in vats. Oh, do I need to bring into that they're propagandizing for this again? They take people, we don't want to eat meat, we don't want to torture animals because we see how horrible the animals live. It's not a life for animals. Fair. And then they distort it and pervert it by saying, okay, fine, then we can eat human cells, and we'll grow human cells in vats, and animals won't get hurt. Or better yet, we'll grow animal cells in vats. And, you know, and It's just whatever way they can. It's like any fucking angle that they can say what's people's basic good natures, biological imperative, destroy the fuck out of it to the point where people want to fuck horses. That's it. We got it. We're in it. We're here. But we're refining it. We're refining. There's so many perversions. There's so many perversions that go beyond Mr. Metker's 11 segment series of deviant art. Weird perversions. They're more being created, and that's fine. And then they're gonna, I joked about 5Ging people to death, like these mental defectives. It's possible. If you can sit directed energy weapons, directed energy technology, which we know exists, the military boys can go out and set out like speak frequencies that and tones and stuff to make people get hot and they don't feel good, and it's keep away directed energy weapons. This stuff happens. It's already been admitted. Whatever department of the military invented this, I forget, but they have a heart attack gun. You can point a gun at somebody and, you know, or an area or whatever, make a heart attack gun. We already know from sound that there's a thing that called a brown note, and then I think, what was that band, Medicine or whatever, played that song. They played the brown note, and then them and the audience all shit their pants, substantiating certain chords, certain sounds have bad effects on people. There's all the studies with plants. All right, so now we have music that just pops and buzzes. Is there a nice love song that's in the top 40 of top 40 pop hits, or is it all just about girls that look like undeveloped teenagers that don't look quite like women, or women that look like exaggerations of fertility goddess with fake plastic asses? It's just such a mess. It's all subverted and perverted and diverted away from the same basic thing I always hammer home. You got to have a good example of a man and a woman, one how to be and one who to find, because that's how people get here. And if you want world peace, you would propagandize that. But we have a weird world where people with all the money, and it's unfucking deniable, are spending all their money and resources to allow us to be further degraded and to reject anybody who wants to have a family and bring people here. It's unfucking deniable. And in this brave new world, it doesn't exist. In Brave New World, people aren't born. In the Brave New World, people are created in a lab. They're not born. They don't have moms or dads. Kids have orgy porgies. Adults have orgy porgies. I don't even want to get into using those words, but that's Brave New World's kid stuff. Adults, they're pushing for that now. Even if we know that everybody's against it and everybody agrees that you don't do shit to kids, if you keep propagandizing that that's happening, it draws out the people who do like it. It's helping build the communities. It's helping refine the communities. And you have so much propaganda of other weird stuff. Look, you got to understand, we already have so many generations of people with daddy issues. And then you have an onslaught of pornography. Think about how free and easily available pornography is online. Anybody can have it at all. And even if you put safe search on and block modes and stuff, you can still find things that are deliberately put there to get through the cracks so that people can find pornography. It doesn't matter who it's, like, people can argue, it's directed at kids, it's directed at families, it's directed at whites, it's directed at blacks, it's directed at Muslims, it's directed, whoever you want to point at, it doesn't matter. The point is that we could have, with the internet, world peace really fast and feed everybody and fix everything really fast. And instead, that tool is being used at every turn to have us fight with each other, spy on each other, ruin each other's lives and careers. You know what I mean? It's being used to create exactly the world that's this world. It's already here, we live in it, but we're also watching the process of refinement, which is what this episode is. The episode about talking about, look at how it's being refined. We're creating perversions and degradations, which is fine, because that helps create a society that doesn't want to mate with anything real. People will still touch each other and stuff, but not before we sterilize them, because we don't want any more of these types of people bringing any further degraded subhumans here. You already know that we have a bunch of degraded people that they all look the same. It's not a race. It's you know what I mean? Like there's different types of syndromes and stuff. It's like, ooh, these people look like this. They all look similar. That's how we call it, that syndrome. Okay? These are engineered people. We have the epidemic of autism. We have people who go online who identify as autistic and stuff like that. And it's like, again, it's just the people who aren't really autistic are just mentally unstable people who want attention. And the way to get attention, be special, all the stuff with the indigos and all this stuff, to this idea of, oh, the future, the autism. There was always these autistics in the past and stuff like that. And they were like people who had knowledge, that had things to give us. No, you asshole. It's just finding through the new age bullshit propaganda. Everything's fake. All your shit was handed to you. The basic stuff you want. Everything that's wrong with you, no matter what you don't like, no matter what side of the argument on, whether you want to go la 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 and kill everybody that doesn't believe in your thing and it's okay to rape all this stuff, no matter what you believe, everything, you've been perverted. We're all degraded stock globally, but that's what we have to work with. We have to turn it around. We have to make generations of people that undegrade themselves. And how we do that is very simple. All right? Understand what I keep telling you and figure out a way to get more hits than me and be more entertaining or handsome and be more succinct. Edit this video. This video needs to be edited into shorter clips. This is what matters. Biological imperative. And this is how every 6 ways to Sunday, every single perversion we have on the planet comes from this basic thing. Men and women getting together, thinking it's safe to bring more people here, and being exemplary representative examples of a man and a woman, so that when they go out to find a mate, they don't find one of these bronies or one of these makeup tutorial girls or one of these whatever you want, No. We're sad and we're lonely. We want to be seen. We've been programmed by TV to want to be on it. We've been programmed by media before internet. This is generationally. Those people have been programmed to want to be on TV, to want to be seen, and then the parents weren't there to give the kids the attention generationally. So now we have the internet. Why you have this epidemic of people making fun of. Do you believe the percentage of everybody, of all these people that want to grow up and be famous YouTubers, or people who are trying to do it, people want to make money by being online celebrities, by talking, they want to talk about content that corporations make and make a career on that and stay home. It's basic drives. People want to have a part of this planet, stay the fuck home, and have a home-based business. They want to stay home. They want to take care of their own food supply, and they don't want to be lonely. So the internet has created this communities of people online, but only after they've ensured that they are distorted and perverted, right? And then when you got that, take away any remaining degree of normalcy until all you have left is Russia, where the savages will go to live in harmony with nature. And then when more people live, it's gonna like make Russia go like ultimate green, where it's like permaculture everything. And it already has happened, because there's this big eco-village movement in Russia, and the Dumas are given like 99-year land leases, because there's so much of it and nobody wants to live there, and you'd have to want to grow your own food. So now these eco-village people that are Russians, or people who already had to take care of their own stuff, want to take up on these Russian 99-year land leases with right to inheritance, by the way. No, you could take that away anytime you want, just like you could take anything away. But the fact that they're offering them to people as incentive means people want them. And the only reason people want them is because there's this really cool social engineering program they have in Russia, which is, I think, in my opinion, why everybody wants to talk hate on Russia. Because Russia is, again, supposed to be Brave New World sanctuary for the savages, or the alphas, wherever they live, just in the whole rest of the world, wherever the fuck they want, watching us on TV. There's all this stuff in the elite's propaganda about how they will live as the savages, how they will go off and live as the savages. It's not savages. They're the ones that will be in harmony with the natural world, actual nature. They want us so removed. They want an artificial created system. What do they call it? The biome or whatever, the artificial biosphere. They want control over the weather, control over everything. And then they'll live in Garden of Eden paradise, right? To whatever relative degree that they can create that with technology. But what we know they can create with technology now is they're laserizing real estate, the 1980, I mean the 2008, 2009, 2008 Beijing Olympics or whatever it was. It was cold. They said, hey, our weather control technology will make sure that this is going to be a fine week because we're China, and we're throwing our dick out because we're China, because they can. And people didn't notice anyway, except for the people that balked about it. What does that mean? Wait a minute, we know what that means. So yeah. So we're programming. The only programming we're doing through the internet is degradation. But there has to be people using tools of degradation to keep communicating. The same stuff I'm saying is, we have to die. We have to find ourselves again. We've been degraded. No, like if there's any way to get through to a person, you have to know that you've been degraded. But what do we have now? 5G, sound frequency that could go out to, like they bombarded us in the ground, in our food, in ourselves, with receptive particles. You know that the crystal radio, the child's project, I don't know if kids do this anymore, but there used to be a child's product of getting a crystal radio, because people used to listen to radio, and you'd get a crystal. You take a little stone, a little crystal, a rock, and you put it in a metal thing, hook it up to a little radio receiver with a speaker thing, and it could pick up and receive radio stations, so it could hold and store data. All right, we hold and store data. We have brains, this and that. We have cellular information. Our cells can be stored and stuff. Well, if we put lots of metals into a body, and our bodies hold on to them, and then we store them in fat because there's so much of it that we just hold on to it and push it out through fat, then you got metals. Then you can make a person receiver. That's as easy layman's way as I can explain how you could make Stephen King cell-style zombie people, right? The Walking Dead or whatever. But you could really just make Brave New World soma tones. In Brave New World, people feel different ways, however you want them to feel, by the tones. The girls go to ecstasy by the tones, right? And the Orgy Porgy, the Lord's Prayer has been reduced to Georgie Porgy putting in pry, was alpha, fucked all the girls and made them sigh. And they listen to the tone. It's just not even music anymore. Music is heading that way. I'm an artist, dude. I got a video booted because I had a soundtrack of MF Doom. All MF Doom is use samples from old things. I think he's a British guy, so he used samples from old BBC shit, right? Like soundtracks, and extends them into cool tones. And I would listen to him when I made art. They booted my YouTube videos because people know MF Doom, and they're like, you can't use his music, man. You know, because whatever, just to cause shit. But the point is, that's a segment of popular music, is just these tones. You have the electronica, it's just tones. All right, but no, it's not, it's a beat. I like the beat. How many times you've been in a club with the girls or some song that is humiliating and degrading to specifically them, that says, all the hoes get out on the floor and suck my dick now. And the girl's like, woo! And they go out and dance to it. And they know, but they like the beat. It's the tones. It's fucking Brave New World. It's being refined. We'll get there. We'll get there very soon. We're so close. But we have it already. And we've had it for over 20. We've had it for so long. Even before we had the internet, they had those songs like that where the girls would go out to the club and listen to the horrible beats. Drum beats. Beats. God, it's all fucking... There's so much shit you already know about Tavistock Institute coming up with how they engineered music. And then what do you have in the 70s with Paul McCartney and Wings? I'm going to nerd out on you about music. Paul McCartney and Wings in the 1970s, and they said, hey, Paul McCartney's secretly into new wave and electronic and stuff like that. Listen to all the synthesizer stuff and electronic stuff he used in the Wings stuff, which is my favorite Paul McCartney and Wings stuff. Better than the Beatles, in my opinion. And I'm going to say that and be so bold. Yeah, because he had all the new tech. Simply having a wonderful Christmas time. Come on. I wonder how many kids got high the first time and then they heard Wonderful Christmas Time, and that's what it felt like to them, or did whippets or something and went, I'm sorry. Think of Paul McCartney's Wonderful Christmas Time and go, wah, 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 wah. Are you one of my stoner subscribers or whatever out there? Get high and listen to Paul McCartney's Wonderful Christmas Time. It's going to warm your heart. It's going to take, if you're old enough, it's going to take you back to your childhood, and you're going to go, yeah. I never did whippets, by the way, but I know people have described or smelled glue and stuff like that, and they talk about Wonderful Christmas Time and certain songs that go wah 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 wah, and it makes me think of dubstep. And my one friend who was just annoyed by his neighbors because all their daughter did every fucking day was get baked in, because she lived in the basement, had the boyfriend come over, and they would turn the dubstep music on. And I love this as a punchline because it happened in life, and it was funny because it really did happen like a sitcom. Every time I go over to him, we'd be doing landscape shit or whatever. I help him do man shit outside, and then you hear that dubstep music all fucking Saturday or Sunday, whatever it was. Boom, 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 boom. And then we'd imagine they'd come out on the deck for a breather after smoking a bowl or fucking whatever, and we'd imagine like listening to music going, you know, getting rips or whatever. It's a brave new world, man, and that's the soma. It's all there. They're listening to this, the tone, the sound, and think about poor people who are brown and have shit nothing in the city that are forced to live there. Generations of programming. You got nothing but music, and those are the people that make the good music. But even your music's been subverted and perverted by the guys who get in there who aren't poor people. The guys who are the producers and the engineers aren't poor. They come from families with money. Pharrell, all these go back. All these guys aren't broke guys. They aren't the guys in the neighborhood that were the biggest, baddest guys. No, so those guys may have got into music, but the producers, the guys with, are always guys, Puff Daddy, whatchamacallit, Kanye West, they weren't poor. None of those guys are poor. I'm not picking on black dudes, but I'm saying those are black dudes. And those guys, even they get in charge of all that shit, all right? They go to the special school. They know what Tavistock Institute is. They know about the tones. They know the pops and buzzes, and they continue to refine them to the point where fucking Pharrell's in a song, who's the producer, with Katy Perry, and the song's called The Feels. The fucking Brave New World Feelies. And they do 2 videos for that song, by the way. One, that's like my show, in Dayglow colors, with Katy Perry's dancing around bop bop shoo-wop, and like looks like 1970s Dayglow retro. And then the other one, where they're in 3 separate spaces on 3 different islands. And I forgot the other guy. I didn't even represent this part of the society that they're creating. Stupid people. What's his name? Jean-Paul, where he's like, God damn, I'm your dumb guy. I'm your stupid, this 69 man, and this new what do they call it, mumblecore rappers, this new generation of, they don't even, I mean, they can talk and everything, and they have tattoos on their face. They're trying to create this type of person, people who do this. Hey, I go to the store now, and I know people who are sharp enough to have jobs and stuff like that, even if it's for landscaping companies and stuff. Landscaping could be like a cool, meaningful job. Instead, it's a job with dudes with have, what do they call it, gauges, earrings, and face tattoos, and kids. And they shouldn't. I'm just gonna say it, man. There's something suspect about your fatherhood if you're not a Samoan with all that shit. How many Samoans are there? How many Samoan dads? They're not offended by me, and they're not listening to this. But it's fucked, right? So you have all the people distracted with their perversions. That's fine, so long as they don't procreate. And they're working on not being able to procreate, because what you have historically is, look at how many historical photos there are of families of plus 20 and stuff. Look at go to Wikipedia of people with lots of children or something. Wikipedia, or people with the most children. That's it. Wikipedia or Google search, whatever. Google search, because it's evil, right? Google search people with the most children, and you'll get a Wikipedia article that's going to show you like a Russian lady had 69 kids all out of her one single womb, and then that there's lots of wombs that had 20 plus children, lots of them, and those aren't even world records. That was just something that was possible. If it was safe enough, there was women that could safely bring, you know, without them dying off, 20 plus kids from the same womb, all right, from the same husband too. So that's a lot of kids. They felt it was safe enough to bring people here, and they did. 20 plus kids. And there's a lot of O'Malley's or O'Reillys or whatever the family name is, right? I'm not picking on the Irish. I just picked a name. So names. So anyway, lots of big families in the past. Now women can't even get pregnant. I've had dinner with people going to fertility clinics, trying to have kids because they can't. That's the world we live in now. The sons and daughters of the king and queen, the people who have the most resources and can own tracts of land, could, if they wanted to, grow food there, create their own little paradise oasis around them. Instead, make it a mode over. Who was the guy that came over here? Rockefeller. Who was the guy that came over here? Carnegie. He tried to recreate the Moors. He was rich and said, I want it to look like what I remember the Moors of Scotland or Ireland, wherever the fuck he was from. And it popularized the idea of getting rid of trees and things to eat everywhere, so that if you were going to be established, you would just have a flat land with nothing on it, because you live someplace where there's nothing on it. Stupid idea. And that becomes what we do. And then bacon and eggs becomes breakfast or late night comfort food to sober up at a diner after you get drunk. And Edward Bernays fucked with people and said, people are so dumb, I'm going to make the world eat bacon and eggs for breakfast forever. And so far we're eating bacon and eggs. We even eat bacon and eggs as a comfort food to sober up in the middle of the night. And the only reason we put those things together with all this breakfast food is because a social engineer named Edward Bernays, a guy you never heard of, or, you know, most people never heard of, said all this shit. He was going to do it. He said, fuck you to you and me. And we live in a brave new world. And Aldous Huxley was a bad dude. And this was created. It helped formulate what science fiction was going to be like. There wasn't a lot of science fiction, or there was a lot of science fiction. It was pulps. But if you were going to be the stuff that has blah, 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 copies sold, like it says here in this volume, and this is a copy from 1960s, by the way. This is the 1960s edition of Brave New World. So, because it had so many printings. Because so many people read it. Whether you like it or not doesn't matter. Whether you read it or not doesn't matter. People have heard of it. It was put out there. And in days before the internet, H.G. Wells was your science fiction. And in days before the internet, H.P. Lovecraft was science fiction. But he wasn't popular until they brought him back later. But you get limited range of... These are people, are your social engineers. You want to make Brave New World, you write Brave New World. You want to make Operation Depopulation Agenda, make the movie called Thanos Was Right, until you get somebody so fucking stupid like Comic Book Girl 19 that does an episode that says Thanos was right. Brave New World bitches. Are you shocked? That's one of your little girls you like. You like your little Comic Book Girl 19. Your 30-something brain dead moron with great production value. Two-man operation. Subverting and perverting you willingly. Right? Dumb people. It's here already. How many other people don't know? Programmers. Programming ourselves. Campia. All these. It sounds dumb to say it like that, but all these, like, just petty tyrants, all these little people. We're programming each other and ourselves. Everybody just wanted to get there. Who's that guy? The guy with the glasses. That guy, right? The guy with the glasses. He just wanted to quit his day job and be a YouTuber. And everybody all the nerds wanted to put on their weird pervert jackets and glasses and weird fedoras and shit and do his videos and say, I want to quit my job too, or not have one to stay home, make money or whatever. So you had people who could and people who didn't. But anyway, they programmed this weird world, and then you watch them get burned down. They create the idols, false idols, and then false idols always get torn down. Bennifer, Ben Affleck, it's all part of, I mean, it sounds strange, but it's all part of like pushing together this idea of hating the ideas of couples, and the gender stuff, like whatever way you can subvert and pervert the basic shit. man and woman coming together to belong to one another, to be beloved to one another for a lifetime, and to bring as many people as is safe or you want to do here, and spread out until this place is full up, and then use all the tech to go to other places, but not to make it dirty. Look, we have all this tech we could use to save the world, and instead every single bit of it has been used, like Kevin Smith said, to bitch about movies on YouTube, waste our time, and to help degrade us. We're helping degrade ourselves with our weird perverted art we make for each other. The deviant art commissions help degrade the next generation. The weird perverted video games where you just want to frag shit in Grand Theft Auto and go, ha 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 ha, we're adults. Yeah, you're adults doing that shit, making that shit, and you're a little off. But now the next generation of people already has that stuff there when they're kids. How many parents just let their kids watch rated R stuff? I was shocked at, like, think of the level of, like, there was 20 years ago parents that let their kids watch rated R stuff on cable when, you know, it affected them, and the kids said, yeah, I grew up, they become adults and said, yeah, I shouldn't have seen it when I was a kid, but I did, I'm okay now. But now you have a generation of super ultra violent gore on regular television, right? Where a dude's neck's being torn out by the violent dead, by the Walking Dead. And you can see that on a marathon all day long on American movie classics, horror, gore, and violence. And then you have the less violent version of that called the Before the Walking Dead, or whatever that show is called, right? And it's desensitized us already. We're there. These atrocities happen. You go to Internet Helps Degrade Us, allmeat.com, the YouTube videos that are assaults, the fighting on Tumblr of the 4chan people going after the Tumblr people or whatever, putting up vlogs of horror and violence and gore and fucking with their shit, whatever. It's just all Brave New World. It's like all these people, all the Keck people and that fuckery, that's all Malcolm McDowell and Clockwork Orange. The Clockwork Orange stuff, it's all that. But how do we get to them? We prison planted them. Let me see what my time is. Okay. I was acquainted with a guy who sold food additives. And I said, who do you mostly sell to? He said, to prisons. And I said, what do you mostly sell? Starches. So I'm shortening this story to get on. You know. So look at the ingredients, the fillers, government subsidized ingredients that go into products. We can live on this stuff, but they are starches and fillers, and being genetically modified again, as they are, to feed the most people by pushing us close together. And it's just all lies, is my point. You know this already. But the point is, it's sterilize us, dumb us down, and whatever sexual drive is left, make sure it is subverted, distorted, and perverted. And a lot of this, I mean, like, just think about the idea of a generation of guys never thinking about ATM, which is something that comes out of occult rituals, by the way. The only place in the world where ATM, I'm not talking about the ATM machine where you go to the bank. I'm talking about the ATM machine that you find on Pornhub, where it's like a bunch of girls doing ATM train or whatever it is. That kind of ATM, okay? ATM comes from ritualistic sexual magic, where you put your thing into the eye of Horus, and then put it into the whispering eye, and then put it into somebody's mouth, and then you're supposed to take demons inside of you, the demon seed. I'm sorry they gotta be so crude, but this is stuff that people believe because it's written in old books. And old weird people are getting busted about this shit now. It's kind of weird. It's like what they do. It's kind of weird. There's too many YouTube ladies, or wherever they get booted or whatever, talking about drinking, like really good looking chicks talking about how that they're mentally ill and that they drink shots of, you know, ejaculate and stuff like that. It's disgusting. Brave New World. It doesn't equal kids. Should a woman like that be a mom? Should a woman that's doing shots of semen be a mother? No. We don't want that stuck. This is the problem people are having. Reasonable men and women. How do they find each other? And if they do, they're going to have to find sanctuary. That's why in Brave New World, maybe it's not Russia, but in Brave New World predicts the land of the savages. If there's any place reasonable people, they want, first, they're going to tune out. They're going to get offline. They're going to leave the internet, is my point. The savages leave the internet. But how do you live without the internet? You have to be able to take care of yourself, which is what's happening in Russia. The Russian people put the social engineering books out to call people back home to claim a piece of the land and start growing food, because they see the creating of the smart city and a technocratic future and stuff. So all the kids that were smart that wanted to get out of Russia got organic chemistry engine degrees and shit like that, are really smart, and saw or got economics degrees or whatever, and said, oh shit, man, maybe I'll go back there and get one of them 99-year land leases. I know it's a weird thing to talk about, but not a lot of people talk about this thing. But if you want to talk about the why they hate Russia, I'm telling you, Russia is being set up to be ostracized from the rest of the world, ultimately because what they're doing now in Russia is the land of the savages. The land of the savages is where you'd want to live, but it's not savage. It's man in harmony with nature, whatever degree they're allowed to have their controlled 5G nature environment. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder about 5G, but the fact that it's so expensive makes you know that it's a thing, and if you just, it's true. But for a second I thought, is it just sugar pill? Could they just put up a bunch of like fake dishes and say, hey, we're gonna 5G ya, and people go like, ah, I failed the 5G, because it happens with the gang stalking. They have gang stalking, again, just degrade people. I don't know how to cover everything about the internet, but gang stalking, right? You get people to think everybody's watching them, and then they think they're on TV, so they start filming, yeah guys, I'm in a movie. Patton Oswalt made jokes about this. In the future, everything will be, all the reality TV will be filmed until people's lives will be, no, I play a LARPing ninja in this guy's role-play life, but it's your actual fucking life. Dude, we have that now. We're doing it now with internet conflicts, with fighting with each other. This online stuff of LARPing, where the fighting amongst it, like, you can't do that with my OC and this, that, and I'm another kin. It's Brave New World. We're already in it. It's also A Scanner Darkly. It's also 1984. But it's all about, like, we're in the midst of refining. It's here, and you're watching the shaking off of anyone, like, you're watching, like, the 1984 and the shaking off of anyone who does not go, like, and go along with it, will want to kill themselves, will just be changed and perverted and distorted at some point, like, somehow they'll get to people. Like, there could be, like, directed technology that we have. You know that since the 60s they've had a heart attack gun. There's also other technology. What if there's a gun you shoot at somebody that says, hey, this guy talks too much about this anti-trans stuff and traditional family values. Let's make him, like, we watched enough footage of this guy. We've seen how we can get with this guy. Send out a bot or algorithm. It's that sophisticated now. Send out a rhythm or sounds within his content, from his HD content that he gets from his internet connection. Start working on this guy to change his values and views. And you know what I mean? Like, it's like what already exists are just toys now. It's just toys. And they're using the toys to let us fuck with each other. And anything we come up with, they're like, oh, this guy came up with a new thing, use it. And the guy never knows he created something to destroy mankind by being online. So it kind of forces people to just disconnect from technocracy completely. But how are you going to do that? Are you going to be allowed to live someplace without technocracy? Only if there are places on Earth that will become ostracized by the rest of the planet. Ready Player One. Ready Player One's what they wanted for you. Let me see what the time is. Okay. Ready Player One is what they wanted for you. You can have nature, but as long as it's this nature, as long as it's fakey avatar nature, day-glow kittens and cats that you can fuck, and you can fuck them in nature, avatar nature. But it's also depopulation. Don't you think with G5, I don't know what the hell they're doing. It's just fuckery. Why don't they just send, like, it seems like now they have that technology where they can just send out tones to just get rid of. Forget about your New World Order websites back in the early 2000s that said, you know, the authorship for New World Order. Did you ever see that website, authored by Dick Cheney, blah, 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 blah. And it said about genetic bombs and how they could release stuff that were like, if we don't like these bloodlines, we're just going to get rid of them genetically, like, you know, through diseases and stuff. And some people say they already did that by messing with blacks and sickle cell anemia and stuff, and by homosexuals and AIDS and on all stuff, whatever. There's all this weird stuff that there's Say what you will that's conspiratorial, that they make you joke about it. But we now know from the world that we actually live in, the world as it is, that they do this stuff. They've had to disclose, yes, it's bio-warfare, it's, disease, disease attacks. We have to worry about these things now, so they say. But we have all the tools to make this world a paradise. And instead, it is being openly used. The internet is a propaganda tool to degrade mankind, and that's it. But it's also become this also weirdly, I suspect, a tool to bite them in the ass. It's like all the bad stuff they created has created a maximum point where it's created like this, like some kind of threshold of all this technology that's been created is so wicked and so available and so actually materially available that it can also be used to make things go like full circle loop back around, that all those tools can now be used by the good guys to do exactly the opposite of what they were created for in the first place. All these evil technologies were created specifically and willfully for bad purposes, period, from the start. But now they become so sophisticated that there's still a kernel of whatever's real or authentic about men and women, that whatever rings true inside the depths of a man or woman will resonate so loudly that it will begin to blast away this artificial world that has been so rapidly being created around us, right? So I want my nature and my crickets, and what do I got? This neon nightmare thing, if I'm lucky. And if I don't have that, at least I can jack into it. I won't even be able to jack into nature. I won't remember it anymore. My memories of going into my own personal matrix will be more like this, right? Singularity is a bad thing. It's about the one world. Singularity is the globalization's ultimate goal. We control everything. The system controlled, where like an AI controlled system, a system where the elite don't even have to manage it. They can just watch it if they want to, and then they can go mate with the savages, and then or whatever. You know what I mean? I'm miscommunicating my Brave New World a little bit, but you get the idea. We're in it, and we're watching it be refined. So how do we turn it back? Your core values, men and women coming together and just battle-axing away all perversions somehow through the internet with intelligence, dismantling corporations, taking the people that need to be kept and taking care of them, and figuring out how to reprogram them. You and I are the reprogrammers now. We have to reprogram this world and figure out how to use 5G to unbrony people or something like that. Tones. They said music would change the world, but music is also the thing they're using to destroy and pervert it. It's sound. First it was a word. That's a sound. Sound has such an effect on us that it could fucking kill us or make us feel good. 432 hertz range music. They could have let us have that, but instead they made all music sound bad, discordant, to hurt us. Use the internet to make harm. We got to bring ourselves back together. That's back to nature, and it's off the internet. We have to use the internet to get people off the internet. There's nothing else for me to say. Internet to get off the internet. I should just keep saying that until the episode cuts out. We have to use the internet to get ourselves off the internet, and only for that. Yeah. People are going to flock back to any kind of real unspoiled nature they could get if they could get to it. And who's going to get to it? The sharpest, smartest people who left their homes want to go back to wherever is, good prime land. They want everybody to live in Ready Player One. They want you to live in Ready Player One. And love it. They want you to want to just, as long as I can jack into the Matrix, they want you to be Joey Pants. I just want to go back. I want steaks. I want girls with red dresses and blonde hair. I want to go out in the town. I want to have a nice time. The smart city. But first they're doing horror and gore, desensitizing us to chopping each other up in the streets and all this fighting with each other. When we have the whole internet where we can change the world, and they have us all factioned off against each other. It's the saddest thing. How do we do it? That's the fight with the internet. How do we do it? We got to figure it out. We're living in this. We got this. We got this, but we gotta find nature. Is it possible? There's nothing else to do besides that. There's nothing else to do besides not try, but like fucking do it with our lives. Live it. Live that nature experience. Get back to nature, I guess. Get back to nature, clean living, clean food, and clean loving. Stop sleeping around, and don't let your sons and daughters do it, and tell them that it's not encouraged. I don't know. That's it. This episode.